Hi guys, it's Christy with Create with Christy. I'm here with my weekly live, but this week I'm not live with you. I'm doing a recorded live because I'm getting ready to leave for On Stage tomorrow. As you're watching this is Tuesday night. I'll be leaving Wednesday, and I wanted to get this recorded because I know Tuesday night's going to be crazy for me trying to get everything ready. So those of you that are watching that are demos are going to be on stage. If you see me, say hi. I'd love to meet you because I don't know what you guys look like. So I'd love to meet you. Now, the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to tell you about my new thank you gifts because they start today as you're watching this. The host code you can find at the bottom of the screen on the left side. And you have to use that host code if your order is $150 or, I'm sorry, less than $150 before shipping and tax. You have to use that host code. That defers my costs. I get Stampin' Rewards from that host code, and then I use those Stampin' Rewards to get free stuff for you guys. So make sure you use that host code. But if your order is $150 or more before shipping and tax, do not use that host code. You'll still get my thank you gifts that you earn, but you'll also get Stampin' Rewards from Stampin' Up, and I don't want you to miss out on getting those Stampin' Rewards. Okay, now the way this one is going to be, if you place a $50 order before shipping and tax using that host code, you will get the card kits to make to each of the cards I'm making here tonight. And I just noticed you also will get the embellishments. I'm using the iridescent foil gems. You will get enough to make all of 6 cards with those embellishments, but I forgot to put them in this particular pack. So don't worry, they'll be in your pack. I'll make sure they're in there. So that's a $50 order before shipping and tax with that host code. I also do all the die cutting and any embossing that needs to be done. The die cutting, that's not part of the bundle. If it's part of the bundle, you have to do that yourself. And also, I still give you the cardstock to do it with, though. And you can also substitute with another bundle if you don't have this one. So that's a $50 order. If you bump it up to a $140 order before shipping and tax using that host code, you will also get, what are these called? Riverside Irregular Pearls. It's white, gray granite, and Lost Lagoon. I love the way these shimmer, and I love the shape of them. They're really neat. They're flat, and they're really cool. So $140 order before shipping and tax using the host code, you get this and the card kits. If you bump it up to $230 order, I will also give you a Wink of Stella. The reason the prices are a little bit higher than usual, these are more expensive gifts. I wanted to give you guys some good gifts this month. So this is the Wink of Stella. So $230 order, do not use that host code, and you'll get everything here, plus Stampin' Rewards from Stampin' Up. Now, you have 2 weeks to get up to those totals. So say you want to do an order this week and an order next week. That is fine. You can definitely do that. And I will add up all of your orders before shipping and tax. And that will determine the thank you gifts you get. But also, always remember, if your individual order is under $150 before shipping and tax, you use that host code that you see there on the screen. But you can get all the information about my thank you gifts if you click on my monthly. I keep going to say monthly online card club. I'm not doing that video right now. My thank you gifts page. You'll find that if you're watching on YouTube. All the links I talk about will be down in the video description. And on Facebook, just look at the top of my Create with Christy page. Click the Learn More button, and you'll find a link to the thank you gifts and other links that I talk about throughout the video. Okay, so that's how the thank you gifts work this month, or this next 2 weeks. The card class at home is going to be the Umbrella Days bundle. This is an online exclusive. It actually came out with the last ones back in January, but I hadn't had a chance to use it yet. And I thought, we're getting close to April. We need to have some, get ready for April rain. So I thought this is a good one. I love the images in this. So this is what I'm going to be using here tonight. I'm actually using all of the stamps in the stamp set. Most of the dies, actually I might be using, I'm not using the boots. But the rest of the dies I am using. That's right. And this little flower one here. I am using this one, but not this one. So those are the only 3 dies I'm not using, but I'm using all the others. So I'll put these to the side and go ahead and get started with card number 1. Get this open here. And I'll go ahead and get the card base folded. This is Pebbled Path. This is one of the end colors that we'll be leaving very soon. So any of the 2023 to 2025 end colors, make sure you get those ink refills. If you've got all the ink pads, get your ink refills if you haven't gotten those already. Don't have the ink pads, make sure you get those plus the ink refill. All the card stocks are going away too. So if you like any of those in colors, and I really liked these. I know some people didn't, but I really, really liked these. But this is the Pebbled Path. This one's a really good color. It's 5.5 by 8.5. I'm going to fold this in half. Get those corners lined up. And the fold is going to be on the left, so I'll put this to the side for right now. And now I'm going to get some stamping done. This is a rubber stamp set, red rubber with the cling stamps, but I still like to use my Stampin' Pierce mat because I think it gives me a better foundation for my stamping. So this piece is basic white, 5.5 by 3. Yes, I want to make sure I was remembering right. And I'm going to be using this little one. And I'm going to use my Tuxedo Black Memento pad. And my tip on this, I always twist as I'm putting it on the rubber and then pounce. I think it inks up a lot better, and I only do that with this ink pad. Our classic ink pads, you don't need to do that. So I'm going to stamp her right here. And then there's plenty of cardstock to stamp her again for the second cards, because like I said, the card kit, you get 2 of each. And now I'm going to go ahead and put this to the side. This is a label. Let me show you the labels real quick. I only use this die set for all the sentiments. I'm using a different ones. This is the one I used here, and these are called the Unbounded Love dies. They came, they've actually got a stamp set that bundled with them. They're from the annual catalog, but it's Unbounded Love dies. But I love all of the different labels, so I had plenty to choose from for the cards today. Okay, so I showed you that die. Now I'm going to grab, this one says, the storm will end and the sun will shine again. So I'm going to do Pebbled Path. Get this inked up, and then I'll just stamp this near the middle, like so. That's ready to go, so I'll put that to the side. And I need to do a little more stamping. I need to clean her off, or him. This one, they don't show the hair or the head, so this could be a little boy, little girl, whatever you want to have it be. And now I'm going to use Cajun Craze. I'm going to get the inside layer for my card. This is a 4 by 5.25 inch of basic white. You could stamp this again in the Memento pad and color it in, but I decided I was just going to do a partial here and have her be in the Cajun Craze, which is one of the colors I'm using on the card. So there's the inside of the card. That's all you need to do to just make that kind of coordinate with the rest of your card. So now I can close this up. And that is all the stamping I need to do. So let me get this right here, because I'm going to color before I die cut. It's always a little easier to do, to color when it's still all in one piece. So I'm not going to need to do anything here, because I'm going to show you a trick. There's a die that makes it so I can put little pieces of DSP there and make it look like a material type umbrella, which is fun. I like doing that. I'm going to grab my Stampin' Blends. This is Cajun Craze. I'm going to start with the dark one, and just little places where like there are little wrinkles, maybe like underneath the arm here, because I know there'll be a little bit of a shade here, maybe underneath the flap on the pocket. There's one little here. And I decided to do her rain boots the same color. I'm just going to make the soles of the boots the dark Cajun Craze. So kind of go over, I'm going to go over it a little bit more just to get it good and dark. And that's probably good enough. Now I'm going to grab the light Cajun Craze and color everywhere the rest of the raincoat in, like so. Going over, as you can see, with over the dark, because that gets those 2 shades to blend. Now down here I'm not really doing much blending, because I wanted the soles just to be the darker. So that's ready to go. And I'm going to go over these a little bit more again. The neat thing with the Stampin' Blends, you can go back and keep adding layers. Like I can tell this dark is lightened up a little too much, so I'm going to darken up a little bit again. Maybe a little bit here. You can just keep adding. I forgot to add some here. So you just keep adding until it looks good to you, and that looks good. So I've got that part done. Now I'm going to grab Boho Blue, grab my dark one. Once again, I wanted her pants to look like jeans. So I'm just going to places where I think there should be a little bit of a shade and go over them just a little bit again. Grab the light Boho Blue and color the rest of this in. There we go. And we have a set that's called Bronze and Ivory. I'm going to use the ivory one and do the hands. Oh, I can tell I missed a sleeve. So here's a hand and here's a hand. There's a little bitty spot of a sleeve there I missed. So I'm just going to do it. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to, because there should be a shadow on that because it's kind of hiding. So I'm going to just do it with the dark right there. There we go. Now that raincoat is done. Don't need to do the umbrella, so that is all the coloring I need to do. So I'm going to grab, let me get this closed up too. I can see that drying up while I'm working. I'm going to grab this to get this set up for die cutting. I need the base platform, number 1, die plate number 2, and a standard cutting plate number 3. I'm going to grab this piece here, and let's see, I think I'm going to grab, I think this is the one I want. Is this the 5.5 by, yeah, this is 5.5 by 2 1/8. This is going to be the clouds. So I'm going to do both clouds. So I'll do this one here and this one. And then I'm going to grab the one that'll die cut the umbrella person. And I'll put this right here. And this one, I'm going to use my Post-it tape because I don't want the die to move at all when I start running it through. So I'm making sure it fills in the opening. You can even see the little handle of the umbrella right there. Then you know you've got it lined up good. Grab my tape. I'm not going to worry about putting tape on these clouds. Just as long as I know they're going to stay put, I'm good. Grab another plate, standard cutting plate, and run this through. Oh, I put this on the wrong side. Okay, we're going to do this. See how if I can do this, and I'll switch it around here in a minute. I think I've got too much on my mind to want to get ready for on stage. Let's turn this around. There. That makes it a lot easier when I don't have to put my arm across. Okay. Get this. Oops. Take these off. That's ready to go. Put that in my little dish. And then I've got my clouds. Sometimes they fall out when you do this. Sometimes they don't. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool, use my paper piercer, and where these little holes are, you just have to poke it out a little bit and it comes right out. And I love the detail on these clouds. They're really neat. Here's the second one. Okay. Now I have one more thing I need to die cut. This is a piece of the Timeless Plaid DSP. If you haven't seen all the plaids in this, you'll want to check out my live video from 2 weeks ago, I think. Yes, it was my Storybook Friends card class at home, and I show all the designs on that video. So I've got this here. I want to grab this umbrella right here. This is the one that's going to make little pieces for me. Now, I made it so this one just fits up and down. That was to make sure I had enough of the DSP for my card kits. So this is right up against the edge, and this little piece right here is right up against the edge, and it will cut just fine. I'm going to put tape down since it is super close. I don't want that to move at all. And I'm going to run this through. The 1-inch strip fits just right. This whole thing is a 6 inches long. Can't remember if I told you the size of that. That way you've got enough to do your second one. So I've got all of these little pieces, and plus the blade is in a little bit. So putting these outside things right on the along the edge makes it to where you still have plenty of room. So that's why I kept it at 1 inch. If it was super close, I wouldn't have done it, but you can tell it's not even ripping the paper. So it works just fine. Just make sure you line up those outside edges when you do it. So now I've got all these pieces for my umbrella. So I don't want to lose those. I'll put those down. And I think that is all I need to do with the die cutting machine. It is. So I'm going to put this to the side. And let's go ahead and do that umbrella as I've got it ready. So I've got this out. This is my silicone craft mat, or sheet, I think is what it's called. Now I can lay these down. You kind of look, the one that kind of curves like this, it kind of curves in. I know that's the bottom. So I like to kind of lay them down to where they look like an umbrella, so I know I've got the pieces right. So you just want to make the ones that curve in are along the bottom. Now I'm going to bring in my umbrella. And since I'm going to be covering up this whole thing, because it does cover up the whole thing, I'm putting glue just all over this umbrella. It's a little easier that way to put it on here. Kind of smearing it out because I had a little bubble that came out right at the beginning. I think I might even take a little bit off because that one section was a little bit too much. And then when that dries, I can peel it off. Take this little piece, and it's just going to fit right in there. And you could use seal, like I think I've told you this before, but when I put little pieces together like this, I like to use the glue just because I can slide it around a little bit. And then when I've got it right where I want it, then I put pressure on it and it sticks forever. But when it's still wet, it's nice to be able to slide a little bit to get it to fit where I want it. Seal, you would have to pick it all back up again. That looks good. Well, I might move that a little bit. And there we go. There's too much of a gap there. But I could have even used a different DSP and cut it again in another DSP and have like alternating sections be different. But I went ahead just to keep the paper easy. They're all this one, but they line up just right. Now she's got a nice plaid umbrella. So I get that out of the way. This piece here I already embossed for the kits, and it was done with the So Swirly. This is one we've had for a while. It's a great big one, as you can tell. I can put the card next to it. I can do 2 of these at once. And this is a piece that is, let's see here, where did I put that? Oh, there we go, 2.5 by 3 3/4. And I wanted this to kind of look like a storm. So I'm going to grab my boho blue ink pad and a blending brush. And I'm okay if I get dark blotches because a storm's not going to look all nice and smooth. So I'm just going over this. So it's going to look like a stormy sky. And keep adding until it looks good to me. There's a little blotch there. I'm okay with that. That's looking pretty good. Add a little bit more here on the edges, down here. There we go. So that looks good. Let me hurry up and clean this off, because I did get some ink on there. So that is ready to go. Now I'm going to put this on a piece of pebbled path. This is 2 3/4 by 4. I'm going to turn this over and grab my seal. Get some across here. A little bit over here, and this will just go right in the center, like so. Oh, and there is one more thing for stamping. I'd forgotten about this part. This is a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of Cajun Craze. I didn't want this to be plain. It looks fine that way, but there's this really neat stamp that does rain. So I'm going to use Cajun Craze, the same color as the cardstock. And first off, I'm just going to go along the edge, the long edges. Add a little more ink. It's okay if they overlap a little bit. Let's just do both long edges, like so. And then I only need to do, not the whole thing, just about down to there. Maybe you can go a little farther than you think you need to. And I'll do it here. And you can do this middle part too if you want to. This just makes it faster. There we go. And then this will go on right here. Now I've got neat rain going across there. So now we're done stamping on this card. I'm going to turn this over. Put some adhesive on here. Put this right in the middle. And I just remembered I'm not using any ribbon. So I can go ahead and put this on the card base. Let me get this out of the way. I don't need that right now. So put some adhesive on here. Do the pebbled path card base, bring that back in. Oh, and I told you the wrong size. This is 3 3/4 by 5, the Cajun Craze piece is. I forgot I made it a little smaller because I wanted to show more of that pebbled path card. Every once in a while we'll do that. So the Cajun Craze is 3 3/4 by 5. So that is right. Ooh, this one looks a little cockeyed, doesn't it? I'm going to take, I love our seal because I can lift this up within the first few minutes and reposition it, and then it becomes permanent after a few minutes. There we go. Oh, that looks better. Okay, now, oh, I forgot. We're going to do some more blending brush. Oops, I had some glue on my finger. Grab your 2 clouds, if you're making this along with me. I'm going to grab my Pebbled Path ink pad and another blending brush for my gray. And I didn't want these to be puffy white clouds because this is supposed to be raining. A rainy day. So they should be a little gray. Just add a little more ink if you need to. Start with a lighter touch, and then you can keep adding because it's a lot easier to add. You can't take away ink. So those are ready to go, and get that ink away while I'm thinking of it. Now I can bring the card back in. And I think I'm going to go ahead and put the inside in quick. So we've got that all ready. We did that a little bit ago. Put this on the inside, like so. Okay. Now I'm going to grab these. I'm just going to lay them down for right now. I'm going to grab my sentiment and this little umbrella person I'm going to put on with dimensionals because I want her popped up. So I'm going to grab my regular dimensionals. Those are my minis. Let me see if I can get a hold of my... There we go. All my dimensionals are stuck together. So I'm going to put one here and here. Right here. This is a little narrower. I think I'm going to cut one of the little half ones off here. Down here there's a little border. And I'll put that down here with in the boot area. Now I do know I want this to kind of be right here, have a little bit of the blue sky showing. So I'm going to grab my seal and put this on. Oops, not upside down though. So this is going to hang over the Cajun Craze piece just a little bit. So about right there. Now I'm going to grab her, grab my take your pick tool, and I'm going to scoop up the paper backings. There we go. And she is going to go right here. The handle, I kind of want close, like in between these two lines here, the end and the again. And yeah, that looks pretty good. Make sure she's straight. Not too bad. So put that down. I'm going to put these on with seal. And I'm only going to lay it down because I might want to move it here in a minute. Turn this one over. And put one about right here. See if I like that. Oh, that's not too bad. I'll go ahead and push those down. Now I'm going to put some bling on them. So these are the iridescent foil gems you'll get. You'll get 2 full rolls. Mine are kind of messed up a little bit. Yours will be nice and intact, don't worry. If you get the card kits, that is. I'm going to do 2 each. I'm going to grab a large one, maybe, and put it right here. Oh, now it's sticking to my fingernail. There we go. I think I need to get the putty coming out. It's dried up on me. There we go. Now I'm going to grab another large one and put it right here, and a small one. Put it right here, and another small one, and put it right here. I just thought those looked really good, shiny rain kind of. So that is the first card of the class. So let me get some things put away here. Got a little bit of a mess going here. Find my other cards here. There we go. This is card number 2. This one's going to have more blues in it. I'm using all the colors, well, not all the colors, but the colors I'm using are from the Timeless Plaid DSP. So get this one out using Misty Moonlight. And this paper actually has a lot of the, well, not a lot, but has a few of the retiring in colors. This one here is boho blue. That's another one. I love this blue. I'm going to miss this one so much. But the other one was the pebbled path. This one's the boho blue. But this is 5.5 by 8.5 card base of Misty Moonlight. I think Misty Moonlight and boho blue looks so good together. I'm going to grab my bone folder again. And all of these are the folder going to be on the left. I didn't do any horizontal ones this time. I'm going to grab this piece. This is a piece of the Timeless Plaid again. This one is 4 by 1.5. I'm going to turn this over, grab my seal. There we go. And this is going to go right along the bottom of this one. There we go. Don't think I see any blue over here. Turn this over. There is a little bit of DSP. I thought so hanging over. So I'm putting my scissors right up against the edge of my cardstock. That helps me cut that nice and straight. Then this is another piece of that Timeless Plaid. This is 4 by 3/4 inch. And you can use whichever side. That's what that one looks like. I kind of like that one better. So get some seal on here. And this will go right across. I'm going to go over the bottom piece just a little bit, not much. I think that kind of gives it more of a finished look having another one on top. Oh, that's hanging up just a little bit, not much. Let's see if I can even cut it. A little bit. Okay. Now I'm not putting any ribbon on this one either, so I can go ahead and put this on the card base. So we'll have the base part of this ready. Okay, that's ready to go. And now this big piece is 7 1/4 by 4. This is what I'm going to do most of the stamping on. So I'm going to grab this again. This time I'm going to use the other umbrella person. This one's the tall one. So this can be a kid. If you put them together, you could have a kid and a mom out. This one has a ponytail. Okay, so that is ready. That was with the Tuxedo Black Memento again. Stamp her right here. Hold it down for a few seconds. Then there is this cute little dog. I just had to do this cute little dog. So I'm going to use the Memento pad again. Get this on. And I'm going to stamp this one here. And I think this is all I need to do on this one. Oh, there we are going to be die cutting some clouds, and I will do that later, but that is all the stamping on this piece. So I will put this one to the side. I'm going to grab the inside piece real quick. This is a 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to grab my dog again, and I'm going to put the little dog right down here in the bottom left corner. And oops, got a little ink on the outside. This time I won't push down so hard either, and I think I'll be okay. I might even take a little bit of that off. There we go. Much better. So now I can put that to the side. There's going to be some coloring. There is a circle. This one is done with the Unbounded Love dies again. And it's this one right here that I use. There's one's a little bigger. I use the one, I think it's bigger. Yeah, this one's a little smaller, so that's the one I used. So now I'm going to grab the Be Brave ink pad. I'm going to use Early Espresso. And I'm going to stamp it near the top of the circle. So I'm going to kind of go up here, still trying to center it up just a little bit. There we go. So that is ready to go. We've got a little more stamping. I almost forgot. I'll put this in my little dish so I don't lose it. This piece is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4, I do believe. Yes. Thought I was looking at the wrong size there. So 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. I'm going to grab the Rain stamp again. So I need to clean that because it's still got Cajun Craze on it. Get that all cleaned up. Okay. Now I'm going to use Boho Blue. And I'm going to cover this with Rain. Now if you look at this, you can tell the raindrops are a little bigger here at the bottom. So that's the bottom. Oops. Get that paper back over here. And I'm just going to stamp some Rain. Oh, and I forgot, I'm going to go over here now too. I'm going to stamp it a few times in different places because I kind of liked it being dark and light in some places. You know how Rain, if it's got a wind going, you can have different colors. So it looks like there's some rain far off and some close by. And oops, need a little bit more down here at the bottom. Let's see if I've got a little more ink on there. Oh, good. I filled that in. Now, I thought that was a little too white, so I'm going to and oops, need a little bit more down here at the bottom. Let's see if I've got a little more ink on there. Oh, good. I filled that in. Now, I thought that was a little too white, so I'm going to get my blending brush again and my Boho Blue, same color blue. And I'm going to lightly go over this whole piece and just keep adding. I kind of liked it a little darker along the edges and then a little lighter inside. That kind of gives it the look of sky again. And once again, I'm okay if there are some blotches since this is a stormy sky, but probably not as many as what was on the last card. I still feel like I need a little more. I'm going to start here at the bottom and get here. There we go. I just don't want to have any white showing. Okay, that is ready to go. This can go on a piece of pecan pie. This one is 3 by 4. I'll turn this over. And this will just go right in the center of the pecan pie. And then I can go ahead and put this on the card base while I'm thinking of it. And it's going to go kind of in the center, maybe up a little bit more. I'm kind of making the border, the left and right borders and the top of the boho blue be about the same width. So it's up just a little bit. Okay, that looks pretty straight, I think. Put that down. I put this to the side. Have some coloring, just a little bit of coloring to do. Actually, I need to stamp this girl again. I almost forgot. So I need to grab a piece of DSP. So I'm going to grab my Stampin' Pierce mat again, since I needed to stamp some more. This is a piece of a different plaid in the Timeless Plaid DSP, 3x3. This is enough for both cards. What I only need is her coat. So I'm just going to re-ink the coat part. It's okay if it gets on the umbrella and stuff. We're going to be cutting it out. And I'm going to put this over as far over as I can and stamp. Okay. And then there's a little coat that I'll be die cutting out. So with the dies, I need to grab this one. I'm going to get ready to die cut now. And the little coat. And I'm going to be using the small cloud and the two little rain petals right here. And almost forgot the little dog. Got to get him out. And let's go ahead and get all of this to the side. I'm going to take, let's get some coloring done before we get the die cutting machine out. I'm going to grab, I had the ivory and bronze. I'm going to do the bronze Stampin' Blend now. And where her hair is, I'm just going to color that in. And this is dark enough, you won't be able to see the plaid anymore. It's just going to look like she's got her ponytail in the back. Okay, so that's all you need to do on this one. I'm going to bring this in. And I think I'll get my paper here. Since I'm using my blends, I'm going to use boho blue. This time I'm going to color in the umbrella. Because I want to show you, we didn't last time, I want to show you what you can do if you want to color in the umbrella. So I'm using my dark boho blue. Just kind of going along the lines in the umbrella, like so. And then I think I'm going to do a little bit here on the edges too. So this is with that dark boho blue. You feel like you need to add another layer, you can. But that looks pretty good to me. Now I'm going to grab the light boho blue, color the rest of this in. And the trick with your Stampin' Blends, if you're using the brush tip like I do, you can use whichever tip you want. I like using the brush tip. I'm using a light touch and kind of using it like a paintbrush. I'll go here along the edge so I don't get out of the lines too badly. Then I'll color the rest of it. So whenever I do a video, I'm standing up as I'm coloring, and that's not my best way of coloring. I do much better when I'm sitting down. But that's okay. You'll get the gist of what I'm doing. So get all of this colored in. I'll probably be adding a little more because I can see some white lines. It's okay if you have a few white lines. And then if the dark part goes away too much, just get the dark boho blue back out and add some more lines. I think I'm going to wait before I do that though, because a lot of times this lightens up after a while. So let that sit for a minute. I don't need to do her hair or her coat because we're going to cover that up with this DSP here. So I'm going to grab the pecan pie. Make sure it's not the bronze. Yep. Here's the dark pecan pie. In little, oops, I'll use this one. This has some wrinkles because that's the back of her knee. And then a little bit down here for the shadow of the raincoat. Okay. Then color the rest of this in. Going over the dark a little bit just to blend it in. You don't have to do that much. A lot of times when after it dries, you might want to add more, but that looks pretty good right now. Forgot I need the boho blue again, because that's what I'm going to do her boots. So where I see lines, is that the dark one? Yep. Well, it's definitely the soles. I think I'm just going to do what I did before. Keep opening up the side I don't want. So there's the sole of her boot. There's a little bit right there. And there are a couple little wrinkles here, so I'll make those with the dark. Oh, and this little bitty spot, that's the inside of her boot showing. Then I'll take the light boho blue and color her boots in. She's got to be matching, you know. Okay. Get that in. And I think I am going to add a little more here because it's still looking a little blotchy. And I feel like I need a little more dark right here. So I'm just going to add a very little bit. I don't want to do too much. But the rest of it looks pretty good. Okay, she is done. Now, he's going to have a little coat on, but we do need to color some of him. So I'm going to grab the dark pecan pie. And this little part of his ear that's kind of back in the shadows, make that a little dark. There's not much dark you need to use. A little bit here on the back of his leg. Maybe a little bit here at the tip of his tail. Up at the, actually the base of his tail. Take the rest of the pecan pie, light. I'm going to color in this part. I'm going a little farther than I think I need to. Do his little feet here. And his tail, because those are going to show. And just the, you can do his whole leg on these two legs, but mainly his feet go up a little higher than his feet. And then his ears are still going to show. And his face, of course. You don't have to worry about doing his collar. We're going to be covering that up. We will color it some on the DSP, but we don't need to right now. So that is good. Go ahead and grab the inside. Since I've got this out, we'll go ahead and color him in here. I'm going to take my dark again. I did miss a little spot here that could go dark on the other one, but so you can see what it looks like. You don't need to mess with it if you don't want to. Get that little part of his ear here, maybe a little bit here under his ear, now that we're going to be, because that's going to be a shadow. Maybe a little bit right here. Then I'll take the light pecan pie, color the rest of him in. And if you don't want to bother coloring him on the inside, this time make sure you don't color in his collar yet. But if you just want him to be, stamp him in boho blue and be done, that is fine too, like we did on that last card. I thought, oh, there's not much to color. I want his stomach to stay white, so I'm not going to color that in. And do his leg here, and the rest of this leg. And if I need to blend, which I do a little bit in a couple places, I can do that. Oh, I missed part of his toe there. Oh, he's got a little white tip. I'm going to leave it that way. You definitely don't have to have that, but I thought, I don't need to color that in. It looks cute. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and grab boho blue. Let's do the light. Doesn't really matter. And I'm going to give him a little blue collar to kind of go along with the rest of the card. There we go. So the inside is done. Now it's time to get the die cutting machine out. So let me get all this stuff out of the way. Bring this in. Okay, it's all set up still for die cutting. I'm going to grab this one, get the die for her. This is going to do a little bit of the cutting for me, but I'm still going to end up trimming it some, and you'll see why here in a minute. So I'm mainly looking at her coat and getting that coat lined up. That's the main thing I'm going to be, that's the only part I'm going to be using. But this will just help a little bit with my cutting. Okay, then we've got the little small coat here. So I'm going to put that close to her here because I want to have still plenty of room to do another one of her, and then probably in this middle area do another coat for the second card. But since I'm only making one, I just need to do this. Put that through. Now I'll have a little coat for the doggy. He's got a little rain jacket. Poke that out. So that's for the little doggy. He's going to match his owner. And we'll take this off. Oops. My tape is starting to get old. I reuse it until it starts falling apart, and I think it's starting to fall apart. I think I might have to do that over again. So this can be used for the second card. And I'll fussy cut some, but I'll show you that here in a minute. We'll put that to the side for now. Now I need to grab this here. Get that little putty off of there. I'll need this die again. This time we're cutting the whole image out. So make sure you get the image completely filling in that open area in the die. Put a piece of tape here and one down here. And then I've got one for the dog. There he is. He's going to do the same thing. He's going to fill in that open area of the die. There we go. Piece of tape. Another one here. Then I'm going to grab the little smaller cloud I had you get out, and both of the petal. Oops, that's not the petal. Let's do this one right here. There we go. Actually, I think we can do it that way. I'm trying to make it so I'm only using about half of this, so we still have plenty. Yeah, there's plenty. And then, because this is enough for both cards, I can't remember if I told the size of this one. This one is a 7 1/4 by 4-inch piece. Get this run through. And this down here. Sometimes the dies like to stick to the cutting plate. Okay. Oops. Yeah, that tape is really falling apart. So I've got the little dog. I know he looks funny, but we're going to be putting his little coat on, and he'll look perfect. And she looks a little funny too, but we're going to be adding her coat on. So there we go. And then, get this out of the way. Get these poked out. A lot of times, not always, but a lot of times when they don't have an opening, the paper does stay in. Not always. But if it does, you just poke it through one of the holes, and it comes out really easy. So there's one petal. Here's the cloud, and I bet you're guessing we're going to be using the blending brush again, because that looks more like a snow petal, doesn't it? It can be used as a snow petal for that matter, but we're wanting rain. We're ready for spring. Okay, that is all of the die cutting. Yes, so I put this out, get this out of the way, start putting this card together. Might as well put the inside in since I've got that on top. And then I can cover up my little stamping boo-boo. Grab my card, and this will just go on the inside, like so. Alrighty. I'm going to grab her. I'm going to grab this, get my paper snips. And there's not a lot of fussy cutting. I'm actually am going close to the line, though. If you're okay having a little bit of a border sticking out that's plaid, then don't worry about it. But I'm definitely going to cut this bottom part and then cut the umbrella up here off. So going right, I want to go make sure that line of the umbrella is not showing at all, because that's going to look a little funny. Now I can just leave these, because you can see there's a little bit of a border around here, because that's what the dies do. I'm just going to go along here real quick and cut right up against the line. I still think it makes it easier. So if you don't want to mess with the die on this section and just fussy cut the whole thing, you definitely can. I actually think it's still a little easier if you die cut it and then just cut off the little pieces that you don't want to have on here. I think it goes a little quicker. There we go. I'm done already. So there we go. I do maybe have a little bit more plaid showing over here than I want. So I'll cut those little overhangs off. There we go. Much better. I've got a little bit hanging off here, but I'm not going to worry about it because I think it's still going to look fine. Because that's going to go on right here. You know what? I am going to take it off because I want to have a little bit of a white border so it matches up with the rest of it. There we go. I'm going to grab my glue again. I'm going to go ahead and grab my silicone craft sheet if I can find it. Where did I put it? Oh, there it is. And you can put it on here or you can put it on our coat here. It really doesn't matter. Grab my glue. But if you put it on here, make sure you stay within the lines because the white border is going to be showing. Okay, that looks pretty good. Kind of smear that out a little bit. There we go. Oh, I didn't get much up here. There we go. And then I can lay this right on there. And now she's styling with her plaid coat, raincoat. Isn't that cool? I love doing that. So she's ready to go. Let's grab our little dog. Oh, I don't need this part, so we can throw those away. Here's the little dog. You find his little coat. Oh, there it is. And since you don't know exactly where it's going to go, turn the coat over, and I would put the glue on the coat. I know it's small, but it's not too terribly small. Because I was like, I'm going to put glue on parts of the dog that's not going to be covered up, and I don't want that. So I think it's a little easier to do it on the coat. You line up his little legs. And like I said, you are going to cover up his collar. Don't cover up his ears. So line up underneath his ears and then his feet. That looks pretty good. Now you can leave it like that, but there's actually almost like a little line here to show where his collar was. You'll see a little bitty cut. You probably can't see it in the video. I'm just going to grab one of my boho blue Stampin' Right markers and just go over that, kind of like I did with the hair. I thought it was a little easier to color once it was on the dog. Now it looks like he's got his blue collar on too. And to me, that just kind of looks a little better that way. Get this out of the way. Bring this in. Oh, wait a minute. We've got to get those clouds and petals ready. So I'm going to grab, actually cloud, singular. Grab my pebbled path again. I'm going to put a little bit on here to gray it up a little bit so it looks more like a rain cloud. There we go. Then I need my boho blue. Grab the 2 petals. Get this closed up. Okay. And I'm going to add some blue on here. Once again, I'm fine with any blotches. It's a water puddle. They don't have to look nice and smooth. Oops. Did that one a little more than I probably would have wanted to, but I'm okay with that. I'll just keep smoothing it out a little bit. I dropped the, darken that up just a little bit. There we go. Make it a little smoother. There we go. That'll work. This one petal will be darker than the other. No biggie. Get that ink off of here. Close this up. Now all the pieces are ready, so bring this in. I'm going to put her on with dimensionals and the dog, so I'm going to go ahead and turn them over. I'm going to put a few up here, 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 and about right there. That should be good. If you're worried about the boot here, you can grab another one of these half ones. And that should work. I think I'll put the flat part of it on the bottom. Then we've got our little dog. Let's see, let's put one down here. And then I'm going to do a little half one where his head's at. That should be pretty good. So those are ready to go. I'm just going to lay them down for right now. I don't want to add them yet. I'm going to look at these 2 here. The one that's a little bit fatter, I'm going to put under the woman. So you know what? I'm going to add a little ink because it looks like I must have hit a blend on that. I don't know what that is. Oh, I have something. Oh, I've got ink on my finger. That's what that is. You know what? Just for right now, didn't realize I got ink in my fingernail. That's not good. That took off some of it. But it's still going to be fine. So I'm going to grab this one. And it's going to be laid down pretty much right here. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put adhesive on here. And once again, you could use the glue. I'm going to lay it, I kind of liked it right along the bottom, kind of hanging over just a little bit. That's a little too much. Let's bring that in. But I'm going to just lay it down in case I want to move it. I'm going to get my silicone mat because I don't want to get... Now this one is pretty narrow. Maybe you do want to use this glue. So let's put a little bit here. Because sometimes when it's narrow, when you use this, some of the adhesive will go along the edge and get on the front. And I don't want that to happen. So before I lay this one down, I'm going to put her down. And then kind of have the dog up a little bit. And this will go about right here. I think that's pretty good. I could have put them right next to each other, but I kind of liked him being up a little bit. That looks pretty good. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead. Oh, wait a minute. Get your Be Brave. Since I've got the glue out, might as well use that, but you could definitely use seal on this one. And this, I want his head to kind of be at the bottom. So I'm going to kind of hold him in place. There's my circle. Not bad. That looks good. So now I'm going to hold that down, get that pressure on there so that glue takes hold. Now I can start putting these other pieces down. I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool, get those paper backings off. There we go. Make sure she's on her, well, get out of the way. Go ahead and put this on. Once again, I'm just going to lay her down in case I want to move her. The paper backing's off of this one. And make sure he's on his petal, but he's also in that brave circle a little bit. There we go. Now push it down. I'm just going to put this on, be seal or the glue. I'm just grabbing whatever's closest to me. And I'm going to put the cloud right there. That looks good. Now put some bling on. So I'm going to grab this. This time I'm going to use 3 large. So I'm going to put a large one if I can get hold of it. Boy, he's not wanting to cooperate, so we'll just put him right there. Well, every time I do that, it sticks to my finger. There we go. Grab another one. Yeah, that one's working better. Put one there and another large one. And I kind of liked it on the circle. So there is card number 2. So I hope you like that. Now this next one is just going to be umbrellas. I wanted to be a little different from the others, so we've used each of the umbrella people. Now we're just going to do a bunch of umbrellas. Okay, so I got to make room here. I'm making a big mess. Get that glue back there. See if I can, there we go. That gives me some room. Grab the last card base. This one's going to be a little lighter, so I've got Calypso Coral. Might as well fold this card base so it's ready. So it's another 5.5 by 8.5. Like I said, it's Calypso Coral. Get those corners lined up, like so. There we go. Put that to the side. This is a piece of early espresso. It is 3 3/4 by 5. And then this piece is Petal Pink. And I embossed it with the cute crochet embossing folder. This is a 3D folder, and it's in the annual catalog. But hopefully you can see that design. Oh, I think you can. I like that a lot. So this one is 3.5 by 4 3/4. Turn it over, get my seal out. And this will get attached to the center of this. Okay. And, oh, I forgot about the grass. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Oh, we're going to make it work. If you make this card later, don't add this on just yet. But this is the piece we'll be using here in a minute. This is Old Olive 3.5 by 3/4. That's going to be die cut. Put that to the side. This is also from the Unbounded Love, and I used the largest. There's another one that looks similar right here, but this is the one I used to get this one. So everything that was die cut with this, I'm doing for you. So let's grab my Stampin' Pierce mat again. There we go. And I'm going to stamp the greeting that says, you are the umbrella you are the umbrella to my rainy days. I'm going to grab Early Espresso. And then I'm going to stamp this closer to the right side of this label. So kind of put it over here. Looks pretty good. I love the fonts in this set. Done with Early Espresso. No, actually I'm not. I decided to use just Early Espresso this time. I'm going to grab this piece. This one is a 8.5 by 1.5 inch piece to do your umbrellas. I'm going to grab, it really doesn't matter which one. I'll go ahead and just grab this one. I only need the umbrella. So I'm going to stamp 3 umbrellas. That one there. This one. And then this one right here. Okay, so we're only going to be messing with the umbrella, and we're not going to do any coloring on this card either. So I can put this to the side. Now I need, let's see, I think that's all the stamping. It sure is. So we can go ahead and close this up. I'll get the die cutting machine out one more time. There we go. Get this out of the way. Every time I get close to the end of the class, I barely have any room to work. Okay, I'm going to grab this, bring this out a little bit. It's all set up for die cutting again. I can actually grab both of my umbrella ladies because they're both the exact same size. They've got it so they coordinate with that die that we're going to be using here in a minute to put DSP on. So I'm just making sure I've got that umbrella really good. You can kind of look at her shoulders too. That kind of helps you know if you've got it lined up. Put that here. This one. Now this one I'm just going to be looking at the umbrella. Get that in there really good. You can see how they're both exact the same size. There's also a little thing, the little pole that's sticking up at the top. There we go. Get the standard cutting plate on top. Run this through. Like so. Grab this one. So it's got the top part of the umbrella cut, so we don't have to do too much fussy cutting. I'm going to put that die back in because we only need to die cut one more, so I'll just use this one. Get my tape off of here. So there's the second umbrella, and here's our third umbrella. So get this on there, like so. And we'll die cut this one out. Then, get a hold of this. There we go. So the base of the umbrellas are ready, except for a little bit of fussy cutting we'll do here in a minute. Put that over here. Now I've got some DSP to cut out. So I'm going to grab, oh, not that one. That umbrella die, if I can find it. There we go. I've got all of them in addition. It's hard to find it. This one that does the little sections. This is a piece of, actually you could stack these up. I would be worried about doing that though in case this slips. So I would do one at a time, and I'm just going to do that. Since this is live, I don't want to have to do this again. But it is a 6 by 1 inch piece, so you've got plenty to do for your, for two, because you're going to do 2 of each. 1 of each for each card. So you'll be doubling it if you're doing both of your cards at the same time. So I've got that one there. Might as well grab this piece. This is that 3.5 by 3/4 inch piece of the old olive. There is one long grass thing here. And what I'm going to, now down here, there is no blade. So you can have your ground be as wide as you want it to be. So I'm going to put this right along the tip top of this. It doesn't matter if it's not super straight. I mean, if it's, you want it close to straight, but nobody's going to know the difference. There we go. Because then it could be like a little hill if you wanted it to be. And I'm going to grab this little Calypso coral. This is a 2 3/4 by 1 1/4. And then I'm going to grab this die here, the one with a bunch of flowers. And I only need one set right now. I'm going to grab my standard cutting plate, put it on top. Now the reason I put tape on these is because I didn't want them to move. This one, just as long as it's on the cardstock, it doesn't need tape. So I'll run this through. Oops, I forgot to do a handle. Shoot. Okay, that's all right. I'm going to have to run this through one more time because we need 3 handles. I was just thinking, oh, I can just do that on the next one since I'm running it through so many times. I should have done like maybe the grass with the next one. That's okay. But there's our grass. We've got all of these little flowers. I'm going to make sure I put them in my dish because I do not want to lose any of those. And there's some that are still in here. I'm going to grab my little dish here and get these out, though, because I don't want to accidentally throw away my flowers, so we'll get these little pieces out of the way. All of these little flowers, I'm going to make sure I put them in my dish because I do not want to lose any of those. And there's some that are still in here. I'm going to grab my little dish here and get these out, though, because I don't want to accidentally throw away my flowers, so we'll get these little pieces out of the way. Grab my Take Your Pick tool, which I think I covered. Oh, there it is. I'm going to poke some of these, the rest of these flowers out that didn't come out. Most of them came out. I'm even going to go ahead. There's some that are just little flower centers that we're not going to be using. But I like to clean those dies out before I do it again. So I've got all my little flowers in my dish. This can go to the side. That's enough for the second card. Here are my umbrella pieces. And I think I'm going to put them, because we're doing 3 umbrellas. You know, I'll put them in the same dish as the flowers. I'll just keep them separate. Now I'm going to grab another one. This one is a 6 by 1 again. You can use whichever side you want. I actually wanted to use this side, but you can use whichever one. Get that lined up again. Once again, make sure you just line up the bottom edge of the center one and the top here, because that blade is recessed a little bit, so it's going to be smaller than what the actual die looks like. I'm just going to use one piece of tape. That'll be fine. Then I'm going to grab this piece. This is a piece of crumb cake that's 4 1/4 by 2 3/4. And I have one last die to get out, the handle. Like I said, those are the 3 I didn't use. Put this here. I wish I had remembered to do this with the last one, because we're going to need 3 of these. You know what? I'm going to do this one. Get that moved over. The reason I'm doing it this way is because I like putting a small end in first. It does a lot better than if you put a big long end first through the machine. Put this on. It's easier on the machine, the die, and it die cuts a little better sometimes. Got that through. And these are narrow little handles, which I think are neat. It's not this big fat thing of what the die looks like. Poke an end out. And isn't that neat? I love how they did the little handle here. So I've got that one. Here is all the pieces for my green. And Old Olive and Mossy Meadow is what these greens are. But keep those grouped together in my little dish. And then there are 2 pieces you're going to find that look the same. One's smaller. This one is, the small one is a 4 by 3/4. I'm sorry, looked at the wrong sheet. This is a 3 3/4 by 3/4 inch piece of the DSP. That was for the inside of the card. But this is another 6 by 1 inch piece for my last umbrella. Grab my tape here. Now you're going to see why I wish I had done the handle with the first umbrella, because now I've got to go, this is going to have to go through one more time. It could have gone through with each umbrella and we would have been done. I'm going to put this on like this, because it just gives me a little more room. Oh, we don't want that in the way. Put that down. So if I remember the handle, that would have been the last time I had to go through, but I'll have to go through one more time. Okay. So get my little pieces out of this one. These come out super fast, so be careful because you don't want to lose them. And I'll get these grouped together in my little dish. Now we're done with this die. Done with all those 6-inch strips of DSP. Get my take your pick tool again. There's one handle. I need to run through one more time to get the 3rd handle, because all our umbrellas need a handle. Now it doesn't really matter which way you go with this one. Grab my standard cutting plate again, run it through. Here we go. Poke this one out and be all done die cutting, and then we'll just put this card together, and this class will be history. Oops, come on. There we go. So get that put away. This over here. Okay, don't need that piece of tape. This is the inside of the card. This is 3 3/4 by 5. And like I said earlier, this is 3 3/4 by 3/4. So I'm going to take, and you can use whichever side you want. Get some adhesive here on the bottom. I didn't want to come out down here. There we go, much better. Put some across here. And I'm going to leave a little bit of border of white showing at the bottom. You can go all the way to the bottom if you want to. There we go. Now I'm going to grab the card base. And let's go ahead and put that on the inside. Okay. Oops, inside, Christy, not the outside. Caught myself. So this one, I made it a little smaller just because I wanted the border to be as wide on the inside as it's going to be here. Now, the reason I started thinking maybe I shouldn't have put this on, this might need to be trimmed, but you know what? I think we're going to be good. Oh, that's fine. Because I'd forgotten. I went ahead and made the green piece the same length as the petal pink. So if you put this on like I did, no big deal. This is already cut down where it's going to fit. I had forgotten that part. I was thinking I made it longer and we'd have to trim it off, but you don't need to. So we are good. Just put this right along the bottom of that petal pink layer. Okay, so there's our grass. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this on the card base, like so. Trying to make it so I have less pieces to have to go find, because we're going to start putting the umbrellas together here in a second. Okay. And you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and grab the greeting too. So go ahead and put some adhesive on here, because we're going to kind of be putting the umbrellas around this. So just go up not upside down again. A little bit of space, maybe 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch from the grass. And this is going to be real close to the edge of the card base, the Calypso Coral card base. But I still want to have a little bit of Calypso showing. Now I'm just going to tap it down so it's on there so it doesn't move, but I can still pick it up a lot easier. So we can put this to the side. Now it's time to work on those umbrellas. So let's grab the bases. Now you could, well, here, I'll explain that here in a minute. Let's do this part first. Now I'm going to go ahead, because you can see lines right here, right up against the umbrella. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut all of these so they look pretty close to the same white, with no white border on the bottom. I'm okay with the white border along here. I'm not going to worry about that. It's more the here, because I want to stamp out all that part of the lady on there. So a little bit right here. And that just makes this bottom part look the same. I'm okay, like I said, if you don't want that white border around here, then you'll want to clip that off. But I'm okay with that. So do the same thing here. Do a little bit, and I'm mainly, like I've said before, moving the paper more than the scissors so I can get a nice curve. And we've got this one and this one. Okay. Yeah, I tried to do it so it was okay if you saw a little bit of the stamping of the girl. It just didn't look right, so that's why I thought, well, okay, we'll just go ahead and trim off this whole bottom part. So that way we don't see her at all. There we go. Almost there. And like I said, this doesn't take long at all to cut. There we go. Now, I'm going to bring in my silicone mat again. Oh, where did I put it? I keep moving it. Oh, there it is. I had it underneath my die cutting machine. No wonder I couldn't find it. Okay, now bring these in. Once again, I'm going to put glue all over this. Maybe not all the way to the edge, because you know how glue always likes to ooze a little bit. Now I'm going to lay these down, making sure that curve. See, this one's a little straighter. This one's got more of a curve that goes in, so I know that's the bottom. And that's another bottom, because this should look like an umbrella when we put these together. Now, if I was just going to put this on the card without these being popped up with dimensionals, I could actually just not have this base and have this here, because this can go underneath and there's a little point here, so it would make a little point. Say this is underneath. That would make a little point. Here, let me just show you. Get this out of the way. That glue will stay wet for a little bit. So you would lay that down. And then you can lay these. Help if I did it right. There we go. Over that, but still have the little top of this showing. So you can make an umbrella this way. But I actually think it's a little easier to have this base. As you can see, that was a little hard to put together. So now I can just, oops, except I don't want glue on my fingers. There we go. This one will go right here. So I'm just going to make it just like I did with the first card. This one will go here. Then this one. And then this one. Move it. I like it because I still move it. Now that I like it where it's at, then I'll put my pressure on there. I'm going to take some seal here. You could use glue too, but I think this might hold it on a little bit better for right now. So I've got a nice strip there. I'm actually going to put this point underneath the point of this one. It looks a little funny sticking out since this one already has a point on it. But if I get that right there behind it, and then the center section right there at the top of the, there we go. Let me turn this over. So that is right lined up with the center of that. And I've got the point right up in behind that point, because that makes it to where this is the right length. It doesn't look too long. That makes sense. So now let's do this one real quick. I'll grab my Mossy Meadow, get some glue on here. There we go. And once again, I'm going to lay these down. I'm always worried I'm going to start gluing them down wrong. There, that looks right. Put this one down. And this one. I like doing this, filling this, and I love how they've got that die for us to be able to do this. And if you, I could have done this, I didn't even think of it. Since we're using different DSPs, if you don't want them to all stay the same, you could, like I could put these two together, have a blue, actually the clips are cool. You can put them all together, just kind of mix them around. I just thought it was a little easier to keep them all the same color this time. So there we've got that. One more, get this DSP laid out, because I liked this side better. I think that's over here. That one's here. And that one's there. Okay. So get the glue on here. So doing 3 of these, you're definitely going to know how to do this. You've watched me do it 3 times now. Done with the, well, yeah, done with the glue. Get all these little pieces on here. And you're watching it in real time, so you kind of get an idea how long it takes. Not too bad, though. Put that on here. And you get faster at it, too, the longer you do it. The more you do it, that is. Nice to have the glue, because now that one moved. I didn't have it angled just right, and then I could scoot it. Because that glue is still wet. And I haven't put the pressure on it. There, that looks good. Now we'll just put the pressure on it. Now I'm going to put the little handles on here. Oh, actually you could do this, turn this over. And then you'll definitely want to make sure that you have the right side facing down here too. Because there is, if you die cut these, you'll notice what the difference is. There we go. So now I've still got the front smooth part on the outside. And I can see right where I was putting it. So let's put some seal on here again. This one I've got the good side facing down. Put it in that point and get this one lined up with that center tip. Okay. And that one's ready to go. Now, the main reason I put this on the bases, for one thing, like I said, I think it's easier still. I wanted to pop these up with dimensionals. So I need to find my dimensionals. Okay, now I'm going to make sure that I put one right on the handle. So I've decided to do it on the top. I don't think you need to put one here and one here. This is going to hold it just fine. Then I can put these down here. I kind of like making a little bit of a triangle because I think it makes it so it doesn't wobble later once you put it on your card. Put one there, and there, and down here, and one more right there. Okay, now take your pick tool, get that die put away, and I'm going to turn these over so I remember which color is which. I kind of liked having the blue up here, this one's going to be down here, and this one is going to be right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and take the dimensionals off of this one. Doesn't matter whichever one you want to start with. There we go. And once again, I'm just going to lay this down nice and easy in case I want to move it. Get that paper back. I've got a little bit of glue on my fingers, and it's just not wanting to cooperate. Scoop these off. I'm going to straighten this one up just a little bit more. I kind of wanted them all angled a little different. Like I said, I'm just going to tap that down for right now. I'm okay with it being underneath. I kind of liked that. Take these off. And this one I'm angling more. And this empty area here, I liked having the handle on there. And that looks pretty good. So I'll push these down. And if you're worried about these handles, they should stay down okay. I've got glue on my fingers. But you could also put a little bit of glue here on the bottom of the handle and put it down before you put it on. But there, that looks good. But I thought that needed some more stuff. So that's what those little, I wish I hadn't been putting those back in there. My little flowers come in. And I'm going to start putting them in different places. And I think it's easier to take your glue. There is a little bit of an opening here. So what I'm going to do, I'm I'm going to turn this over, and because it's so small, I'm going to hold on to it. You can still do it over here. I'm going to put this underneath because you'll be able to see what I'm doing a little better. And I'm just going to put just a little bit of glue on here. Oops. And kind of smear it a little bit. So I kind of put one dot, smear it, and then if I think I need a little more, add a little bit more. And I'm going to put this one up here. If there wasn't a opening right there, I would put a little glue dot on here and then put it down. But I didn't want a bunch of glue coming out that little hole. So that's why I'm doing it this way. Now I'm going to grab another one. Turn it over. This glue bottle is getting a little cantankerous. I think it's probably getting close to being gone again. I'm going to put one, maybe pop it up here a little bit more. I just thought needed a little flowers to brighten this up. So we're thinking of the May flowers now. Get this, a little bit of glue on here. So barely squeeze it. And then when a little bit comes out, stop squeezing and smear the tip along the glue so that kind of spreads it out a little bit. I'm going to put one up here. There's 7 altogether. You don't have to use all of them if you don't want to. But I thought, oh, what the heck. I'm going to go ahead and use them all. Get some more glue on here. Here, you know what? There's another thing we could try. I'm going to try this on the next one. I'm going to put one right here. I'm going to put a little bit of glue here, making it real thin though. I'll take one of these, pick up a little glue here, put one here, hold that down. Oh, no, that didn't work very well. Well, no, that got it. So you can do it that way too. I'm wondering if I did this and then kind of smeared it in the glue and then put one here, hold it down. You know what? I think that's going to be a lot better. Oh, perfect. So now you don't have to get glue on your fingers. I wish I thought of this sooner because I've got glue all over my fingers. Then I pick up the rest of the glue that was on there. If you put too much down, you don't have to pick up all the glue. Pop this down. There we go. And this one, I'm going to use 3. I almost didn't put bling on them because of the flowers. And I thought, you know what? I'm not real crazy about just these little bitty black things poking up. So I'm going to grab these again. This time I'm going to use just small ones. I used just large ones last time. Now I'm going to use 3 small ones. I'm going to put them right there and cover up that little tip. So now it looks like there's a little jewel on top of the umbrellas. Grab another small one right there. And this card is done. Yep, we put the inside in. I couldn't remember. So that is the last card there. So I hope you enjoyed my Umbrella Days class. Let me get all the cards together again. Here's this one and this one. So this is my card class for the next 2 weeks, for my thank you gifts, that is. So if you want to make these and you want to get my free card kits, this is how you do it. You can get all this information if you click on the thank you gifts page link down below in the video description if you're watching on YouTube, and you can find it under that learn more button at the top of the page of my Facebook page also. So we've got these. Place that host code you'll see right there in the bottom left corner. Place your order by, I'll put the date down there too, because now I'm thinking about, I can't remember the exact date it ends. But I know it's near the end of, I think it's March 18th is when this, no, not 18th, 24th. I think it's the 24th, but I will put it down on the screen so that way you can see it. You can also, like I said, get the information on thank you gifts. But place your order, place a $50 order before shipping and tax using that host code. You'll get the card kits to make 2 each of these, and I will give you enough of these iridescent foil gems for your card. And I'll do all the embossing for you and the die cutting of these labels. And then you can always substitute with another bundle, and I will give you the card stock to do all the die cutting with this. So that's your $50. If you bump it up to a $140 order, you will also get these. These are the Riverside Irregular Pearls. Like I said, it's white, gray granite, and Lost Lagoon. And I thought these would look good with this stamp set too. That's why I picked those out, because you can make these almost look like little water petals if you wanted to. So with a $140 order before shipping and tax using that host code, you'll get this, the card kits, and this. Now, if you add another $10 onto that $140 order, don't use that host code. That way you'll get Stampin' Words from Stampin' Up. So it might be worth it to you to do an extra $10. You'll get this, plus you won't have to use that host code, and you'll get Stampin' Words from Stampin' Up. So I thought I'd let you know about that too real quick. Then if you do a $230 order, You'll also get the Wink of Stella, because I thought this would be neat, and I ended up not doing it on any of these cards, probably because of the color scheme. But I could have even used the Wink of Stella and made the water puddles sparkle a little bit. So that's something you could do. But that's with a $230 order. But if you do that in one lump order, do not use your host code, because you're then over the $150 mark before shipping and tax. So take the host code off, and you'll get all of this, plus Stampin' Words from Stampin' Up. So if you've got any questions, just comment below. Also, like I said, click on that thank you gifts page link down in the video description or enter my Learn More button. You can get all the information there. And there's also a contact me link so you can ask me questions. Facebook, you can just message me from my page. So I hope you guys enjoyed this class. It was a little different not being able to talk back and forth with you with the comments, but like I said, I'm really looking forward to going on stage, and hopefully I'll get to see some of you there. So have a great week, guys, and I will be back next week, and maybe I'll be able to show you a few things in the live next week. See you later. Bye.